Hello everyone, my name is Noah, and for those who don't know me or know what I do for work, I am a spiritual guide and teacher, and a psychic and energy healer. And in today's video, we're going to be talking about spiritual awakening. And I also do post content on TikTok and Instagram, and if you do want to check it out, I will leave the information right down below so you can go check out my page and check my content. And in today's content or video, we're going to be talking about spiritual awakening. And what I like to mention before I start is that if you are going through this awakening right now, or you're going through this shift or time period in 2026, what I do want you to know is that it's okay, all right? Everything's going to be fine, right? All that's happening is that you are starting to remember who you are. And that is what spiritual awakening is that you are starting to remember who you truly are. You're breaking free from what you've been told and programmed to believe that who you truly are, which is the physical body and everything that has to do with the third density, which you're not. You are a fifth dimensional being. The moment you are out of this body, you are a fifth dimensional being. You are pure consciousness. You are a soul made of energy, right? And that is what awakening is when you start to awaken to that idea and realization that you are not the body. You are a body, a soul experiencing physical reality in a physical body. And once that starts to being activated, now that's when your consciousness, your awareness starts to expand. And that's where phase 2 steps in, right? So step 2 is when you start to feel everything deeply, is when everything around you becomes sensitive to you as well. And the reason for this is, like I said, once you realize that you are not the body, you kind of separate yourself from the idea that you are attaching yourself to a physical thing. Because you are not the body. The body is part of you in a sense where you can experience physical reality, but it's not you. So when you detach yourself from that idea, now you're more operating at your true self, and you'll keep experiencing more and more of your true essence as you keep going through the awakening. But when you do that, now you're becoming more sensitive to energy, to your environment, to other forms of consciousness. And that's where your psychic abilities or other abilities starts to play a role, and your chakras become, your 7 main energy centers, which are your chakras, become more activated and start to activate, which means that now this is why, and explains why you're also going to experience what I mentioned, which is environmental sensitivity to energies, thoughts, emotions, and so on and so forth. And this can be overwhelming if you don't know how to ground yourself, how to control what you allow in and what you allow out, right? So that's why it would be important if you know someone who's been through it to, don't be afraid to ask questions, and don't be afraid to dive in deeper or look at YouTube videos or even watch mine where I can explain, or even go to me for help and guidance. And I'll be glad to help you. Because sometimes it's not easy to go through alone, but if you're strong enough, you can do it. And it's not impossible. It's uncomfortable, let me tell you. I've been through it myself. It's uncomfortable, especially if you're alone, because you can't explain what you're going through. It's so much at once, and you're like, my God, right? It's like, whew, what am I going through? I don't know what I'm feeling, why I'm feeling this, why all of a sudden I'm feeling so much. But that's why. And it's not because you're becoming depressed. It gives you that sense. But that's where step 3, the stage 3 step in. Stage 3 is when you go through what you call the dark night of the soul. And that's where it can feel very intense and very confusing and very overwhelming and very depressing and so on and so forth. So much. And the reason for this is not because you are depressed, not because you are crazy or none of that. No. The reason why you're going through the dark night of the soul, as we know, is because once your chakras become activated, once the real you starts to come out the soul. And you've been holding on to so many traumas, emotions that don't serve you, are not here for your highest good. You've been holding on to a lot of regret, shame, guilt, and all this dense, negative, and heavy energy within your nervous system, within your chakra centers. Because your chakras do hold memories and do hold energies and emotions. And the more you keep holding on and the more you keep resisting to change, resisting to healing, resisting to, allowing yourself to feel, to heal and all that stuff, then that's when you go through stage 3, the dark night of the soul. That's when it becomes a very deep and emotional and mental experience, and spiritual as well. And that's where it's important that you start and don't be afraid to allow yourself to heal. That's where you're going to need and require shadow work, inner work, and start releasing what no longer serves you and focusing on healing yourself emotionally, mentally, spiritually, so you can be able to move on, to find peace, to find clarity, to find love, and enjoy every moment part of yourself. And start loving yourself again, right? And once you do that, you will see that everything will improve and become so much better. I know this because I've been through it. So I can speak for myself. I didn't know how I was going to do it, but I knew that eventually I was tired from running away from what I was scared of, which is mostly the unknown. We keep thinking, I'm feeling all this, but what would happen if I was to keep facing it? Facing the fear, facing the trauma, facing the fears and the things that I'm so afraid of. Don't know why, but I'm so afraid of it. But then once you realize that, once you take action and you allow it to come up again, it becomes your best friend. Because now, the next time you go through something traumatic, next time you go through something that is hard to experience and go through, you will know how to overcome it. You will know how to handle it. You will know how to move on. And this is why it's important that you are not afraid, and don't be afraid to take step. And anyways, I hope I didn't talk too much about this. I feel like I've been like kind of going back in circles here with the same repetition. But anyways, you get the idea of what you need to do in that phase, which is very important. And I cannot stress this enough, because the more you keep in, the more you hurt yourself, the more you're going to keep in this cycle. And stage number 4, it's moving out of the darkness by healing your traumas, emotions, and habits, as I was talking about. And in that stage 4, once you've done the work, once you've healed from all your traumas, your emotions, and from your habits that were not serving your highest good, that were keeping you in places you did not want to be, whether it's friends, whether it's drugs, whether it's alcohol, whether it's food, diet, behavior, all of it. Now you can have a better sense of yourself, because now you don't have things that you are attaching yourself to suppress what you've been feeling, to hide your emotions, to make it okay. You know what I mean? Like, for what we know, most people drink to give their emotions a hug in the present moment. But then once the alcohol fades off, they still feel deeply their emotions, their depression, and so on and so forth. And that's not the answer. The answer is you have to look within yourself. You have to learn and teach yourself that all the answers are within you, and they are. They're not outside of you, they're within you. So if you want to heal, you want to find peace, you want to find love, start with you. You are the answer to everything in your life. Every solution, every problem, everything is with you. And once you heal, you will have like I said, everything will improve. You will have clarity, you will have peace. You will start loving yourself like you never have before. The drinking might even fade away. Your addictions might even fade away because now you're going to choose you over the substance. You're going to choose you over all of that stuff. And stage number 5. Stage number 5 is when you become more grounded. You become more at peace with yourself. Now you're in a phase where you're more in tune and you understand the lessons you've been through. You know, you are at a point in your life where you live more in peace and love and happiness, and you're now just on a quest and a journey on learning, growth, and trying to understand more and more and more of who you are and learning all the lessons you can as much as possible. And then stage number 6 is when you are taking all your lessons that you've learned through your healing journey, through your spiritual journey, and you keep using that to grow or teach other people. You use all of that lessons to form, your knowledge, your wisdom, and everything else. So now you can teach others or spread it or whatever you want to do with that. And now applying it to your daily life, making it your daily life, right? Where you're not falling into your old habits again. Now you're a completely new version of yourself. And now you're allowing yourself to keep expanding, to ascending to more and more higher densities or consciousness, and so on and so forth. And that's what I find that is most important in awakening, and that is the 6 stages of awakening.